Right now at 6, wind warnings after a wild night on the Oregon coast. We're tracking a high-impact storm bearing down on the northwest.
Plus, nearly 200 women and children joined together in a growing lawsuit accusing a former Westland doctor of sex abuse. So why have there been no criminal charges?
I don't buy the position that, oh, the law was just not good enough at the time.
And teachers in Albany hit the picket lines for the first time in decades.
Over the last 28 years, we've never pushed back like this.
Good evening. We begin at 6 with a confirmed tornado that briefly touched down Monday on the Oregon coast, shattering windows, knocking over a fence, and blowing the roof off a garage. With tonight, more potentially destructive winds on the way.
Plus, waves of rain returning to the Portland metro area this afternoon. And spoiler here, the rain's going to be sticking around. We've got team coverage of this weather impact alert day. Chief Meteorologist Matt Zaffino standing by in the Weather Center with your forecast.
But first to meteorologist Joe Ranieri live in Rockaway Beach. Joe?
Hey, well, good evening to you guys. It was almost 24 hours ago when the EF0 tornado touched down. It was confirmed earlier this afternoon by the National Weather Service. They've spent a good portion of last night and today just looking at some video as well as some pictures. I spoke with a woman who lives just up the road from me who said that she walked out of her house around 9:30 yesterday afternoon to see her fence blown down, and she was surprised about the widespread damage it took place in this neighborhood.
We were sitting there watching the football game actually about 9:30, and it got real quiet, and I looked outside and the fence kind of lifted off the ground, and the next thing I knew it was on the other neighbor's yard.
Yeah, I spoke to some other residents in this neighborhood who kind of described the sounds of the tornado as it came up as almost like a train. One gal who didn't go on camera told me, who grew up in the Midwest, said that's exactly what she described it as last night when this tornado hit through. But we're live outside the school district offices here in Rockaway, where they suffered most of the damage out of anybody in this neighborhood. I know it's pretty dark, but there's a garage that had two of its doors ripped off, roof ripped off, as well as a dugout just off to the side here. Now it's just on the foundation. Some of that debris from that dugout hit the district boardroom and broke some windows. It's now kind of boarded up a little bit, but it's going to be very active here along the Oregon coast the next couple of days. Not only are we tracking the high wind advisory and the rain, the king tides will be playing a role with the weather later on this week, starting basically from Friday and into the end of next weekend. Here's a graphic that shows the king tides. Now, it happens pretty much this time of year and throughout parts of December and January every year. But again, basically from Friday through Sunday of this upcoming weekend, tides could be anywhere from about 20 to 25 feet. And we can't stress this enough. Do not come out here to get video and pictures. It's not that important. You can kind of just if you have to come out, watch them from afar, because every year we do report on people getting washed away. That happened a couple of years ago. You might remember a family was out basically walking the beach when the king tides came through and swept a young family out to sea. But again, the high wind is going to be in effect throughout tonight. Again, the king tides will be rolling through later on this afternoon, or not this afternoon, later on this week and into the weekend. David and Christine, back to you.
Yeah, soaking wet. Joe Ranieri on the Oregon coast there. Thanks, Joe. Appreciate your reporting.
Let's bring in Chief Meteorologist Matt Zaffino now. Matt, Joe gave us a look at the coast. You could hear the wind when he was live. What are you tracking for us here in the metro area?
Well, there's a lot of stuff to track, but I want to touch more on the tornado and the thunderstorms that caused the tornado last night at the Oregon coast. That was in the wake of the cold front that brought us the rain, what was it, Sunday night and into yesterday morning, right? And so after that, we get this cooler, unstable air. And if the wind profile of the atmosphere is right, we can get some rotation, and that's how those weak tornadoes spin up. Weak, but still damaging in this case. Now, tomorrow, we'll see a similar situation after the cold front goes through tonight, and the Storm Prediction Center has painted a marginal risk of severe storms just along the coast. There is a risk of just garden variety thunderstorms in the valley. So Point is this: we could see another one of those tornadoes spin up or a water spout out over the ocean from the thunderstorms or the strong showers that develop after the strong cold front that comes on shore tonight. We're calling tomorrow a weather impact alert day. In fact, after 8 o'clock tonight, basically that's when our wind advisory goes into effect. It will be windy overnight. And with the wind, because the trees still have a full complement of leaves, there's more surface area for the wind to push on. We could get a random branch or even a tree come down, and that, of course, could take a power line down. Hopefully that doesn't happen, but it's possible. Urban storm drain flooding is possible, hence the flood advisory tomorrow morning because of our heavy rain. And again, that chance of a coastal funnel cloud exists again. So wind advisory begins in a couple of hours. High wind warning over on the coast. We're going to be looking at gusts of about 40 miles an hour in the valley, and then the flood advisory for the valleys too. So again, a lot to watch. Nothing we haven't seen this time of the year, but it's our first really active, multifaceted storm of the fall. Guys?
The first of many, I imagine. Thanks, Matt. In your headlines, a construction worker is dead after they were hit by a MAX train. This is around 2 this afternoon at Burnside and 141st in the Hazelwood neighborhood. The sheriff's office says a construction crew member who was working nearby was in the street crossing when they were hit. Their name has not been released. Transit police are investigating. Service is back up and running on the Blue Line tonight.
Several downtown Portland businesses still have plywood on their windows after last week's election. We're told there's a backlog for the wood to come down, but it should be happening soon. It all initially went up as a precautionary measure. Some business owners were worried about violence and vandalism after the election. But after rallies over the weekend remained peaceful, some business owners have requested the boards be taken down.
Portland City Council is set to vote on a final plan Wednesday to extend the streetcar system in Northwest Portland. The proposal, which has been in the works for years, would extend the north-south line from Northwest 23rd and Northrop to near Montgomery Park. The plan also calls for rezoning industrial land north of Vaughn Street to spur new residential development. The forecasted cost is now $120 million. That is 50% higher than when it was first proposed. Backers say they are banking on federal money to help cover the bulk of that cost.
33,000 Boeing machinists in Oregon and Washington went back to work today, but the company says it'll take several weeks before production is fully back up and running. The strike stopped production of planes, including the 737 MAX and 777. Regulatory approval for Boeing's next model, the 737 MAX 10, has also been delayed, meaning airlines may not get deliveries until 2027. The machinists union got a 38% pay hike over 4 years and a $12,000 ratification bonus in their new contract, but failed to get Boeing to reinstate its pension plan.
Now at 6, for the first time in nearly 40 years, the teachers in the Greater Albany School District have gone on strike.
Devin Haskins has more from the picket lines after nearly 600 teachers walked off the job.
Well, teachers say some of the bigger sticking points are things like class sizes and pay. Negotiations have been ongoing since February, even a late mediation session until 2 o'clock this morning, until talks stalled and teachers went on strike.
No contract. No teach.
At just before 8 o'clock Tuesday morning outside West Albany High School. And again at 1 in the afternoon outside South Albany High School. Nearly 600 educators rallied on the picket lines.
We just don't feel like they hear us.
Ken Beiser is on the Albany Teachers Union negotiating team.
We've been bargaining since February, and the answer that we got from February until August when the state mediator got involved was largely just no to everything.
9 months of talks with little movement on a settlement. The union says it's come to terms on a few points, closer on others like pay, but says there is still a ways to go on things like prep time and class sizes.
We have kindergarten, first and second grade classes that have 29, 30, 31, 32 students in them.
Teachers want a hard cap on class sizes in elementary and middle school with options for high school. The district pushing back on that notion.
We need to be better articulated by them how a hard number in a classroom addresses behavior.
The district says the current total compensation and demands by the teachers union would cost the district more than $27 million over the next 2 years. The district says it simply doesn't have the money.
We have allocated $5.5 million or something like that we are spending down in our ending fund balance, and the vast majority of that is going to this contract.
And while the two sides try to find a common ground, more than 9,300 students will stay at home another day.
The two sides will be back at it again tomorrow for a mediation session, and when this contract is finalized, teachers will get an in-service day because they still need to get their keys and their laptops back. In Albany, I'm Devin Haskins, KGW News.
The family of a security guard shot and killed at Legacy Good Samaritan last year has filed a $35 million lawsuit against the hospital system.
In it, attorneys allege the failure to enforce safety rules led to Bobby Smallwood's death. Alma McCarty is live in Northwest Portland with the update. Alma.
Yeah, David, Christine, back in July 2023, Smallwood was instructed as a security guard here to wait with a man named Pontiac's Cowles, while other hospital staff went ahead and searched his partner's room here at Legacy Good Sam. Now, inside of that room, they found guns and ammo, and according to the lawsuit, realized that Cowles had an additional firearm on him, but didn't warn Smallwood that he likely had this weapon. Cowles then shot Smallwood in the neck, and he died soon after. Tom Diamore, the attorney for Smallwood's estate, says Legacy should have acted sooner to remove the suspect from the facility, given 3 days of reported violent behavior and threats inside of the hospital leading up to the deadly shooting.
It's still not clear to us why somebody didn't have him removed. And it was not as if it was a few hours, it was day to day to day where these things were happening.
The lawsuit also alleges that security staff discussed calling in a code silver, which is an active shooter alert, after learning Cowles was armed, but did not do so until after Bobby Smallwood was shot. Later that same day, Portland police shot and killed Cowles in Gresham. Now, we did reach out, of course, to Legacy Health for a statement, and they told us that they do not comment on pending litigation. David, Christine, back to you.
Thank you, Alma. Appreciate that update.